of Katie Zafiris is out with the front group as well. There's quite a gap then. Look, quite a space between the first 16 out of the water and the next group of guys. Now, we all know about Richard Varga's swimming capability. He's pretty decent on the bike, gets left behind when they have to run at the end of the triathlon, but he's so useful, particularly to the Brownlee brothers. That's why they rate him so highly and spend so much time training with him, because he can make or break a Brownlee brothers triathlon simply by swimming so solidly. And that's Richard Varga back into the water to begin lap 2, closely followed by his training partner Jonathan Brownlee, and those two are approaching the giant pink inflatable buoys for the first turn.
You don't often see a split coming that early on the swim. And you know what, Matt, I think the conditions are a little bit tougher than they look there. We're just watching that really being pushed side to side. So maybe underwater conditions, maybe the wind a little bit stronger. But that Richard Varga, what a magnificent job he's done. If he intended to split this swim field, that's exactly what's happening.
Well, the way things are panning out at the moment, by the time they come out of the water, we could expect to see quite a small group form at the front of the bike course. 40 Ks, remember, on the bike, and that involves 8 laps of 5 kilometres each. The surf rescue boys aren't too far behind, along with the paddleboarders and kayakers, keeping a close eye on the action. I mentioned it can be violent on the turn. Less of a problem now the field is so spread deep into the second lap as Richard Varga leads them around the next turn.
Huge split in the field. We talked about the weather condition. I'm just looking at the paddleboarder there, and he's having to work quite hard just to maintain that position. So conditions a little bit up. But look at that split, Matt. My goodness me.
We are going to be waiting a long time until the last man comes out of the water at the end of this swim, after Richard Varga completes the 1,500 metres waterborne stage of this triathlon. Approaching the 17-minute mark. It's around 17 minutes normally when we see them come out of the water to complete the swim, as Varga bounces out of the water knees high, followed by Johnny Brownlee and the Polyansky brothers, Dimitri and Igor. Dimitri third, Igor fourth. Then there's a bit of a gap. We expected Pierre Lecour to be right up there, but he's been dropped. So only 4. Varga of Slovakia, Brownlee of Great Britain, and the 2 Russians, Igor and Dimitri Polyansky, coming out of the water in a group of 4. Johnny Brownlee just taking it easy, picks up his bike, and away they go. So, interesting. 4 guys together. Gomez coming into transition with Pierre Lecour, but they haven't even reached their bikes, and the first 4 are on their way for lap 1. So Lecour and Gomez will have to work together, and we saw the full start on the swim. And David House of France, and I think 3 or 4 others, have been given a 15-second stop-go penalty. House is serving his. It's finished now, but he's lost 15 valuable seconds because of that full start diving into the water. And away he goes. Meanwhile, the group of 4 have formed, and Jonathan Brownlee is having a look around, seeing who he's got for company, and starting to take control. This is a great position for Brownlee to be in. He'll love this.
Well, there's no doubt what these 4 are going to do. They've got that little lead on the field, and significantly Javier Gomez with 5, 6, maybe 10 seconds down. You look at Johnny Brownlee, absolutely commanding, making the Russians come. I think Richard Varga's having a little bit of trouble trying to stay on. There goes Gomez. He knows he's got to stay on. He knows he's got to try and break this gap immediately. Is he going to bridge this gap?
He's got Tommy Zafiris for company, Pierre Lecour and Ben Canute, along with Vian Solvaut, and one of the Japanese riders, I think that's Tayama. That's the chase group. They number about 8, but this is the lead group, and it's a small lead group by World Triathlon Series standards. The quartet at the front of the field, comprising of Jonathan Brownlee, Igor and Dimitri Polyansky, and Richard Varga.
Well, absolutely no call to give in there. And one of Johnny Brownlee's greatest strengths is just his ability to suffer, his ability to push himself and make the others push themselves right the way through.
Johnny Brownlee just giving one of the Polyansky brothers a pat on the back. I don't know if that was by way of apology. In fact, he's given them both a pat on the back, so I assume it's by way of encouragement. He wants them to work hard. He wants to let them know that he's grateful for their presence, because a group of 4 can work so much more effectively than a group of two, but he also wants to let them know that there is work to be done.
Well, we've always spoken about Dimitri and Igor about being some of the hardest competitors out there on the circuit, and they are prepared to work. What a great lead group. We've got athletes there who know each other's strengths. They know they're going to have to work and work and work. I don't think we're going to see any letting up on this. And if Gomez can close this gap, I will be more than impressed.
So the front four staying together. One of the Polyanskis just dropped briefly, but as they were going round a turn, it's Jonathan Brownlee out in front. This is the chase group. Tommy Zafiris, Javier Gomez, World Triathlon Series champion, 32 years of age now, having a look around, seeing who he's got to help him along. He may well have Alaza and Mola, the other two Spaniards. He'll be looking for some friendly faces, potentially, to try and do some work and close this significant gap. You can see it now. The four in front and then the chasers, and we'll get an official time difference as they cross the line at the end of lap one, coming through into transition now. So one down and 7 to go on two wheels in a moment or two. Polyanski leading them through, but now Varga takes it up at the front after 24.5 minutes or so of this triathlon. This is shaping up to be a cracking race. And Jonathan Brownlee, who won last time out in Auckland, is in great shape potentially to win again on the Gold Coast, and he's starting to boss the front of this race, dishing out the orders. We'll get a check on the time difference. 7 laps to go. Polyanski and his brother Igor, Varga and Brownlee leading them through. 17, 18, 19 seconds gone and still no sign of the chasers. They're coming into transition now. We'll get the official time difference. It's 25 seconds. Pierre Lecour, Ben Shaw, Ben Canute, Tayama, Gomez, Zafiris, Sulvalt, but it's still this quartet who lead the way. Lap 2, Jonathan Brownlee out in front. He's been controlling the race so far, and he's controlling it physically as well as verbally by leading them through.
I think Johnny just has that ability to get the other athletes to trust him. He says, right, we've got to work hard for it, and he's got really hard workers with him there. They know they're going to be getting feedback that they're really doing well there. Now, what is Gomez going to do? That smaller pack has now become a huge one. Does Javier Gomez have that ability, have the leadership to really get these people working hard? Because they have to break this lead down if he wants to give himself a chance against Johnny Brownlee's undoubted running strengths.
He's got Ben Canute for company there, but they still have a huge mountain to climb to close the gap. And there's a few questions being asked. A little mini breakaway. 5 guys have gone in an attempt to get closer to this group of 4. The Polyanski brothers, Richard Varga and Jonathan Brownlee, who wears number 1 and continues to encourage his opponents, who are, in this stage, his teammates as well right now.
Well, you almost think that the pace that Johnny Brownlee is insisting on is beginning to take its toll. I'm not sure if that's Igor or Dimitri, but every time we get a bend, we just seem to have a little bit of a stretch out. Let's see if they can stay together.
Brakes on hard through this right-hander. Everybody steering clear of the obstacles, the metal fences, and the tarmac as well. And now they'll get a chance to come eye to eye with the chasing group of 5. The gap was 25 seconds at the end of the first lap. We'll get a check at the end of the second lap to see if it's grown significantly, remained the same, or possibly even shrunk, with Gomez attempting to control things. It was 25 seconds last time we looked. It's now 29 seconds. So the effort that Gomez and his 4 fellow triathletes are putting in doesn't seem to be having much effect so far. Lots of support for Johnny Brownlee as he and Richard Varga in Igor and Dimitri Polyanski complete the second lap. 2 down, 6 to go. 32 minutes and 22 seconds of the triathlon complete so far. Here's the second group. 29 seconds behind last time we got the check from the graphic. Looks like it stayed at about that mark. 29 to 30 seconds. Gomez, Shaw, Lecour and Tayama and 2 others. And now we're deep in lap 4.
Well, a lot more coordination, not more understanding in that chase back now. Certainly Gomez has taken control and is getting them to work. And now what's happened? Well, it looks like we've had one huge group has come together now. Is that going to be an advantage or a big disadvantage for the likes of Javier Gomez, those who fancy their chances of coming back on level terms with Johnny Brownlee?
Yeah, Gomez was away in that group of 5 as they attempted to claw back the Brownlee group. But now this huge pack has formed. It numbers 25, 30 guys, lots of green and gold from Australia. 1 or 2 New Zealanders in there as well, and the Spanish trio, Alaza, Gomez and Mola, all involved in this group. There's Mario Mola out near the front, attempting to force some pace into the race. And Philip Graves, the other British triathlete in the competition, is in that second group as well. Back with the leaders now on lap 5. Jonathan Brownlee, Igor and Dmitry Polyansky, Richard Varga still out in front, where they've been since they came out of the water and picked up their bikes. They took this race by the scruff of the neck, and with Jonathan Brownlee in control, they have stretched their lead to an impressive 47 seconds with less than half distance to go, just 15.5 kilometres to ride.
Well, the effort at the front really still going in. These 4 working as hard as possible.
Now it's a case of steering clear of trouble. 1 or 2 tight turns still to negotiate. Coming up to 54 minutes since they dived into the warm waters of the Gold Coast. And they'll be starting to think about the run. Bike split number 5. And lots of interest in the grandstands as they watch the 2 Russian brothers, Varga and Jonathan Brownlee, come through transition. 3 laps to go. And here they go on their way for lap number 6. And one of the oh goodness me, we've got trouble. And one of the Polyanskis is down. And water bottles going everywhere, and that is Igor. Igor's race is over. His wheel is buckled, and he came into this corner first. Oh, his pedal hit the deck, and Jonathan Brownlee rode over the top of him, while his brother and Varga went either side of him. Nasty crash for number 14, Igor Polyansky. Down he went. His bike is busted to bits, and his race is well and truly over.
I think Igor may well have gone through that corner, through that bend, with his inside foot just down. It's just clipped the road surface, which has caused all that problem. What a shame. What a great performance he was having.
So we're now on lap 7. Just Dmitry Polyansky, Richard Varga and Jonathan Brownlee left in this front group. What a race they've had. They were out at 47 seconds in front, and that gap has reduced now to just over 30 seconds, which means that the chase group are certainly starting to put in some effort, and the amount that the lead group in terms of pace could produce has decreased with the absence of one of the Polyanskis after that crash. But the winner of this race almost certain to be one of these 3, and you have to put your money on Jonathan Brownlee with such a lead over Mola and Gomez and Alaza, who are in this chase group about 30 seconds behind.
Well, perhaps we're seeing this gap come down with as a hard result from that crash, obviously having to slow down then to accelerate again. That's going to cost a few seconds. And now down to 3. Even more hard work from the leading pack.
Jonathan Brownlee, Richard Varga, Dmitry Polyansky at the end of lap 7. They take the bell. Now this is key. What's the time difference with 1 lap to go between the leading trio and the chasing peloton, which numbers 35, possibly 40 guys? Jonathan would be comfortable with a lead of about 25 seconds or so. Here they come, 21, 22, 23. It's looking good for Johnny Brownlee. 27, 28 seconds officially between the leaders and the chasers. After the crash, the gap has reduced, but an awful lot of running required from any of these guys to close the gap over Jonathan Brownlee, who must be thinking that he can do the golden double, having taken the title on March